Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kaika.
King Bow Wow Chow in the
Uh,
house.
I'm the amazing, the best person here. The big
Oh,
ego, Sunny Hawkeye here.
And we made it to our second episode, and that's where we include the applause because we didn't think we'd get this far, to be honest. So we're really proud of ourselves.
Yay!
Let's
Really
go.
making strides.
Yeah, because our sleep schedule is fucked, and we're teenagers.
6 a.m. Ooh, best time to go to sleep.
Yeah, man.
Yup.
What is sleep?
You know when it's time to go to sleep when the sun comes up. That's how you know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Although let's be real, it's winter, so it's probably gonna be like 8 p.m. when the sun comes up.
I
Bro.
mean, me and Kaika just came back from the bloody
Yeah,
Pain.
Destiny 2 raid.
pain. Such a pain.
You're
God,
playing the new
imagine playing
Destiny 2
Destiny
raid.
2. Oh, that's a different episode. So,
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about what we're going to talk about on
No.
this episode. So, what we're going to talk about is everything included in the election fraud and just the general election, which also includes the Georgia Senate runoff races. We're going to talk about the stimulus package that just passed both houses and just Trump just signed it, I think, a couple days ago. And we're also going to talk about Luke Letlow's untimely death, and we're going to talk about the implications on just his death in general on Twitter because it's been making major strides and there's a lot of blaming going on.
I mean, it's
So without further ado,
yeah,
let's get into it.
it's Twitter. What do you expect?
Yeah, but I think Twitter is just the perfect, it's just the perfect reincarnation of the mob.
Yup.
All right,
It
let's
literally
Mob
is that.
mentality.
let's talk about that later. Or
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
episode.
All right, let's talk about the election and let's talk about our first topic, which is fraud. So what do you guys think about fraud?
Well, you see, I think that many things happened in that election. It was just kind of sus, you know?
It was
Uh,
indeed sus.
When the
Yeah.
imposter is sus.
We should have voted that election out of the history. Am I right, boys?
Yup. Out of history, out of the airlock. God, is Among Us
Yeah.
even still relevant? Probably not.
Yeah, did you guys actually hear it? You know what's funny? My
What?
dead grandma actually voted for Biden. You know that?
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I voted for Biden even though I'm not 18. Oh, whoops.
Make,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So,
Yeah.
allegedly, Trump has a case going on in Georgia where he alleges that I think over 200,000 ballots were illegally casted. And I think why he's specifically focusing on Georgia is because of the runoff races, right? Because I think he knows that the election is sort of a lost cause, so he's just focusing on Georgia so that at least Republicans have control of the Senate. But, maybe he could pull it out. I see it's very unlikely because, the states already voted, so all Congress needs to do is certify it. But what do you guys think? Do you think Trump could pull it out?
At this point, no.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
a lot of the Republicans that are still hoping, MAGA 2020, it's gonna happen, guys. they need to cope and learn how to code and get a grip and take the red pill and just live in reality.
Wait, King Chow, what do you mean? I thought Kanye was gonna win, man.
I mean, how do I put this? Yeah, if Bernie was an atom bomb and Biden was a tactical airstrike, Trump was like a grenade, and then Kanye was like a 1,000-kilometer asteroid, just wiping out everything. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that Kanye is a bad president. I'm really not. I'm saying he's a
He's a good
shit
artist.
president, and I'm saying that I'm really, really happy that he did not win for
He's a good
2020.
artist.
Though
For
he's
2024,
actually very
though.
libertarian.
For 2024, though, that would be based.
All right.
Yeah, I would vote for Kanye in 2024.
God, I'm so turned around. Okay, look, I honestly, if you asked me whether I thought Kanye West could be president in like any time before 2015, I'd probably be
Yeah.
like, you're silly. Come on, only boomers win elections in America. But then Trump won, and I'm not saying that Trump isn't a boomer. He totally is, but like, he's someone completely out of left field when it comes to politics. Just a businessman, and he won once and he almost won twice. And you got to think to yourself, how far does that open the gate to people like Kanye West from becoming president? Like, that was a legitimate campaign.
Yeah, but
we live in clown
okay,
world.
you have to look at Reagan, right? When he
Hog,
first
hog.
initially came into the race, he was looked at as a joke candidate like Trump because he was this actor. But some people took him seriously, and I think some people are going to devalue my point because he was the governor of California before he took office. So I guess that sort of, I don't know, it legitimizes his run or his campaign, unlike Trump, where everyone just clowned on him, basically. So I think the combination of Reagan and Trump opens just fertile soil for Kanye West. Like, as a Republican, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think Kanye could run as a Democrat, even if he wanted to. I don't think Kanye can make his own party, because I do think, even though Trump's fracturing the party, that he will still maintain it, and he'll maintain it until he dies. So I see Kanye running as a Republican. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he could run as a Republican. I see him more as a Republican, especially since he was very open to being a Trump supporter. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he put it on social media, his MAGA hat. You know, just a very outspoken supporter of Trump.
I honestly don't even know if he supported Trump all the way, but I think he just wanted to support him because, as he said before, you're programmed to think a certain way, especially if you're black, right? The media tells you that you have to vote Democrat or else you're somehow voting against your people, which makes no sense, by the way.
Internalized racism.
Right. So I think Kanye, if you really understand his philosophy, which I really like, I think he's one of the more interesting presidents if he would win. But hey, I mean, we could do a whole episode on Kanye, right?
Right.
So let's talk about what looks so far to be the incoming president, Joe Biden. I mean, so okay, so King Chow, you're not really too interested in college, as I understand, right?
What?
So you don't really want to attend college for a little bit, right?
What?
What he's saying is that you want to take like a gap year because
I'm
you
gonna
I'm
have
not-
a
take
brain
time.
hemorrhage. Yes, I want to
No,
take a gap
trans-
year so
Okay.
that by the time that I actually do go to college, it won't be like distance learning online college. It'll be
Yeah.
actual college.
By the way, yeah, I'm not trying to clown you. I'm just saying that
No, I know.
Biden is
All-
proposing
we
that.
respect anyone who's want to take a gap year, or don't even want to attend
Yeah.
college. We respect you. It's your life, your decision.
Yeah.
By the way, in many ways, not going to college is better, especially if if you're going to go into a business field. Just,
Yeah. But
just
it
as
is
a general
also
thing.
very risky. So, it has
Yeah.
to be a personal decision.
Exactly.
reason
I'm
I'm
just
a
trying to connect to the
libertarian.
point. Right. I'm just trying to connect that Joe Biden said he was going to pay for all public education under a certain threshold.
Yeah.
So that obviously is going to translate into higher taxes.
Yeah. It's Democratic Party makes higher
We're
taxes.
California, am I right?
What a surprise.
Yeah, so by the way, the top marginal tax rate that Biden proposed a long time ago was 60-some% in California, in Los Angeles
Yikes.
particularly.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
60-some, and in New York was 61%. But
I
that's
mean,
besides the fact. And we're not even counting
60%?
Right.
What
we're
the
not even
fuck?
counting the education that he just proposed.
Oh,
So it might even skyrocket to, mid 60s.
God, and I thought
People are
Bernie was
leaving the
bad.
state. Bro, this is why
Yeah.
even the state and going to Texas, man. Like, even Jake Paul's moving out of California.
This is legit a gateway to socialism. I know
Yeah,
that
it
that's
literally
like
is.
the conspiracy thing to say, but seriously, a 60% tax rate is like, okay, if 60% of your wealth is just being straight taxed off of you, right? You think you're just going to be able to live off of the 40%? No. But the government, with all of that newfound money, which they'd burn in less than a month, by the way,
Yeah.
they're going to at least try to use it to quote-unquote help the citizenry. You know what that is? That's socialism.
Socialism.
That is the government providing services that used to belong to the people. Like, okay, I know that it's a meme to say that taxation is theft, but,
Right.
and I mean this, I genuinely believe that taxation is theft. And I get that we live in a country and that but as part of living in a country, you have to pay some taxes to keep the country running, to keep the government running. But our spending is so out of control, and for Joe Biden to basically just come in here and say, so you know, I know we already took a little bit of your money before, but some of that extra money is looking a little juicy. Give me.
Right. So this is what I particularly have issue with the socialism argument is socialism is predicated on the fact that the government owns your labor, and capitalism suggests that no one owns your labor. All you do is you engage in the free exchange of goods voluntarily.
Right, or in other words, you own your labor.
Exactly. And what I have a problem is I'm not against taxation. I think certain things need to be funded, but I think what's troubling is that once it goes over 50%, do you own your own labor at that point? Do you really own your own labor? And I think that's a discussion more and more people should have, especially now since Biden is looking to be the incoming president. Because right now, I think the top tax rate in California is closer to 40%, which is pretty high, right? I think we could all agree.
It's just like...
It's too much.
Yikers, man.
It bottlenecks just so many people. And all that money is just going to fucking nothing. It's just going down the drain because the government wants to endlessly spend on all of these different things. And instead of trying to keep spending under control, they're just like, citizens make money. Give it.
Yeah, it's a weird topic. Honestly, if it wasn't over 50%, if it wasn't over 50%, I'd be like, okay, it's just general democratic tax rates, right? That's what I'd expect. But it's over 50 fucking percent. That's too much. I mean, this is what liberals get wrong, is the bottom half of the population, they don't generate jobs, right? It's the rich. They invest into businesses and they create job opportunities.
And it's also the rich that pay 90% of income tax.
Right. So we're treading into very, very dangerous territory where we might even go into a recession. And the interesting part about right now is we're not going into a recession, or at least it doesn't seem like, because the American dollar hasn't been devalued.
Yet.
But Rand Paul on the Senate floor, he made a very good speech. He said that, I can't remember the specific percentage. I think, what was it, 22%? Does that sound right, King Show? I don't know. I can't remember this. I think he said 22% of all money circulated in the U.S. exchange is printed in 2020. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, even if it's higher, which it might be, I can't remember. We're in a very palpable bubble right now.
Okay,
where the dollar could crash.
Honestly, the crash is basically inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
Unless there is some brakes that we can pull and we can get spending under control. The U.S. dollar in the next 10 years might dip below a certain point to where it's like
not a very good economy wise,
like at all. Like, it would be much more wise to invest in basically any other first world country.
Or just invest into cryptocurrency.
Based? Did somebody say based?
I know, but I honestly think
fight the government with Bitcoin.
Dollar.
It works.
Yes. Just fuck the dollar. Who cares about the dollar, right? At this point. Yeah. I don't think it's worth anything right now. And I might invest into Bitcoin.
I mean... We're acting like it's a joke, and I get that it's kind of a meme, but Bitcoin is actually a genuine alternative.
Yeah, it's on the rise.
Yeah. So
and I think Elon Musk, he said something about Bitcoin and the stock went up. So that's how you know Elon Musk is not going away for a long time.
What's the stock of Bitcoin right now? How much is it stock?
I don't even know.
Someone gonna look it up because it's not me.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now.
Get the stats on deck.
All right, let's see the stock for Bitcoin. It's 29,000.
29,000.
Yeah, per stock. So
that's one stock. Remember, not too long ago, it was pennies.
It was much, yeah, but not. It was a lot like.
Well, you know why it was pennies,
more, right?
Right. It's all these fucking people on stock market Reddits, right? That literally they watch every single movement of like Bitcoin stocks and like cryptocurrency stocks, and as soon as it makes even a slight like little like bit or dip in the like weight or buying power of the cryptocurrency, they just sell. And then everyone else who has Bitcoin, that little dip just became like a complete economic crash. And that's why, you know.
To be honest, I think it has more to do with people just not I guess I don't know if relying is the best word, but I'll just say relying for now, but just not relying on Bitcoin, or they just don't see it as a legitimate currency.
I mean,
And this is why the dollar hasn't devalued, right? It's because people still trust the dollar.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
very soon, if Bitcoin, continues this rise, I don't know how many
Hopefully.
people will trust the dollar, and that's a good thing. I don't want the
It's a
government to
great
be
thing.
in the money business. I think they should get out because they always fuck it up somehow.
Yeah. So I'm a
Yeah.
libertarian. I don't have too much time to say this.
Sonny, you got anything to add?
I mean, I feel like this is kind of a perfect segue to one of our other topics. You know,
Oh.
The stimulus.
the stimulus package. You know, so Trump
Yeah.
trying to increase it to $2,000. Right now it's 600, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he signed it into law, so people are gonna receive their $600 stimulus checks. soon.
Yeah, yeah, and it's yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I also don't know how. It's one of those things like, well, people get more money, it's good, but it
I'm
kind
having a
of.
stroke. I
Okay,
fucking
so this is-
hate the stimuluses. I really do. I really, really do.
I mean, I see it in its good way. It's like trying to help people out who are unemployed, who need the money.
Yeah,
I
but
get
wouldn't that just be
but-
solved by not having a fucking nationwide lockdown that applies to all of the citizens
Right.
in the first place? Or
So-
cutting down the tax rates so that whatever the money they have saved
Now-
isn't being vacuumed up by the government?
Okay, so this is what I have issue with the stimulus. I don't think the federal government should be paying for all of this. I think
think
it's
we
the
state-
state governments because, some states have harsher lockdowns than others. So why
Exactly.
are other
Yeah.
states subsidizing for these
like,
major metropolitan states like
thing of it-
California?
Florida is a state who has very little lockdown, who just recently, if I remember correctly, forced or like told everyone to wear their mask. And it's like, what the heck? Us in California, we're mandatory to wear masks to go anywhere. We're basically stuck to us gamers to our seats. We're just in the house, basically quarantining ourselves for the past 6-7 months, or is it 9 months by now? I can't even remember.
It actually we went into quarantine in March, or at least in California, right? We were pretty late. I know a lot of states jumped on the bandwagon a little earlier, but I think it was March if I remember correctly.
2020, more like 1984.
So it's more like 10 months at this point, or something
Pain.
like that.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, as much as I hate to say this, and I'm a big gamer, but I really do not like the lockdowns. I don't think it's good.
Pain. I miss my friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss seeing
I
people.
miss actually. Okay, for the people who don't like school, I actually miss going to school. Like
Loser.
You just okay. We go to a school that's like high tech. It's like very high tech, and we have gadgets.
Yay, we're gonna get
But-
doxxed.
I said it's very high tech. You idiot! You just gave it away.
No one has gave it away. All right, just go on.
Anyways, as I was saying, like we're basically looking at a screen 24/7 now, versus before, we just had to look at a screen for a certain amount of time, and we had time like lunch, nutrition, where we got to hang out with our friends. Now, our only way
Yeah.
of communication, me and my friends, are Discord and calls, and if we want to turn on our
Mhm.
cameras.
And I think this sort of changes with because we're seniors right now. So, but I have a sister who's an underclassman.
I'm a freshman.
Yeah, and she's a sophomore. She loves lockdown because she does not want to go to school and everything's really easy. But from our perspective as seniors, because everything we do in senior year basically doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All you need to do is pass. But for underclassmen, this is just an easy ticket to getting all A's. And I
Yeah.
think that's why it's appealing to the more younger students
Okay.
in high school, at least. I don't know how it is in middle school.
So I'm gonna
We get no
be
prom.
that guy. And I'm gonna say this. The
Yeah.
lockdowns have been great for me academically.
Wow.
Okay, you both know this. I'm a pretty average kid when it comes to grades. Sort of a B
Yeah.
student most of the
Yeah.
time. My GPA is like a 3.0 flat. Um, you know, I'm not like I don't. It's not like I don't try, but I'm not like a sweat. And this was like the first year that I got like all A's, straight all A's. And I was really proud of myself, and that was because I work better in a distance learning environment. But here's the thing. I'm still against the lockdowns. Even though being against the lockdowns actively hurts me, I am still against the lockdowns because I don't think that everybody else should be forced to be in this situation. What would be
Right.
ideal would be some kind of hybrid model where people who wanted to stay inside could stay inside and participate in distance learning, and people who really wanted to be in the real world with real people and real class, whatever, could. That would be the best situation.
Yeah. But I
But
feel like
wasn't that? Yeah, you go.
I've s- sorry. I feel like we should still have people, you know, with the same mandates, you know, not really 6 feet apart, but like mask at least or some kind of face shield. Because
Cringe.
this is still a virus. I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
an idiot and be like, oh, the virus don't exist. The government, whoa. I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
be that
obviously
kind
the virus exists.
like. I'm not gonna be an idiot. I
We're not
want to
tinfoil
follow.
hatters, flat Earths, moon truths.
You know, some of us have like
Mhm.
older grandparents who live with or who we still have contact with, you know. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
you don't want to risk the older generations. And I like your hybrid idea, like people who want to go outside, but people who still go outside should like wear masks.
Okay,
My
so this is what I have issue with the hybrid idea. Didn't we already have sort of a hybrid model, last year? Because for you, Vincent, you could take homeschool, right? That's an option. That's an option for everyone.
I mean,
So why wouldn't
yeah.
you just go with that option?
Okay.
But
Isn't that sort of hybrid where people could just stay inside all day if they wanted to, but people who want to go, to school, to actual IRL school,
I
they
mean,
could do that.
sort of, but the amount of resources and I'd say social interaction that comes from being in public school is something that you just can't replace with homeschool, which is why most homeschooled kids end up socially underdeveloped. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. That doesn't mean that kids should be, necessarily forced to go back to the old method. What I think we should do is that after the virus passes, whenever that is, whether it's next month or next year or in the next 10 years, whenever it is, right? We should still have some type of option where public school resources are given to parents who want to homeschool their children at like a price or a subscription or whatever. And there are some places that already kind of do that, like Khan Academy, for example, and Brilliant and others. But
Alex.
yeah, Alex. My point is, right, there should be resources that homeschool parents have to teach their kids that is somewhat integrated with the rest of the public curriculum and with the same kind of resources that public schools have.
Yeah, so the issue with that is obviously the reason why Alex, Khan Academy, and Brilliance are so expensive is because the government's paying for them. So there's no
Yeah,
incentive to lower the prices if their biggest consumer is literally the government with all the money. If it
uh,
was only given to students or
Wait,
parents,
hold on. Wait, those are private companies. They're not being funded
Yeah.
by the government.
no, but the government is purchasing their products, right, in the form of public schools.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? That's their biggest customer.
No, actually, I do understand. I mean, I
So
was
there's no
just saying.
competition.
Right. I was just saying that in the context of that being an idea if we were still going to go with the basic framework of public schooling. Frankly, I think that public schooling shouldn't exist, but, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because it's been in it's just been the way of life for so long. I don't know if we're ready to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
I think we very much are. I think we've been making factory workers for the past 200 years, and we've only needed them for, like, the first 50.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how comfortable people would be, right?
Probably not comfortable at all, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't make the change.
Well,
Yeah,
I think we
kinda
might
wanna
be getting a
make things
little
as
off
smooth.
topic.
Oh, and by the way, for people who don't know who Alex and Khan Academy are, Alex is kind of a website where it helps you learn maths. You know, and has
yep.
problems out there. And Khan Academy is kind of the same way, except it's more has more steps. There's videos to help you, and yeah,
And it's, from what I understand, more STEM oriented, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it can also
Yeah.
help you with SAT and the ACT.
Hey, but
Great.
if you're a senior that applied to college this year, I mean, you don't need to take the ACT or SAT,
Yeah,
so we got lucky.
see, me and Austin Vincent. I know Vincent's taking a gap year, but me and Austin Vincent taking the most pristine colleges. You know, we're going to the most pristine. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say which college it is. I
You've
don't
already
think
doxed us enough. At some point,
yeah.
I'm not gonna
you just
dox
gotta
us
pull the
more.
trigger.
By
So
the way, I'm just saying this.
I'm
Okay,
going to
so I
see
applied.
son. Come fight me.
I'm not
Okay,
going to see so. I thought
I
Vincent was going
applied, guys.
to.
All right, I applied to an Ivy League, and I got a call
Uh,
back with no SAT. So that's how you know we got lucky this year. That's all I'm saying.
anyways, let's
Yeah,
go
that's a different
to
topic.
let's try to talk about a different topic. I think we should talk about social media's influence on the
Yeah.
I
life
hate
and
Twitter.
everything.
I hate Twitter. Twitter
I
is
would actually
ruining
like-
our society.
Bro,
So
you know what I hate more than Twitter? Just Trump taking offense to Twitter, because he just feeds into it.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone who puts himself in the fire in the mob or like in the fight just feeds it more. Like you're just
Yeah.
giving more putting more wood into the bonfire,
Yup.
you know? And
Yeah.
Which is
like
my profession. I'm a wood chipper.
social media is like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter,
Why'd you have to mention the worst three first?
Twitch, and of course, you know, the best one. YouTube.
YouTube is barely a
don't-
social media platform.
Yeah.
It is a
I see it's social media in the comments section maybe, but I don't know if
no,
you would.
but it is a social media.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is
It's
classified
harder-
as social
Sort
media.
of.
it's classified, but I don't know how comfortable I would be with that classification. Right?
Social
Um,
media is stuff like Twitter, Instagram, the ruins of Snapchat.
But like,
Uh,
for example, Instagram, you post photos, people comment on them. You post videos, people comment them. What's the difference between that and YouTube?
But can you DM on YouTube? Is that like a thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Really? I've never done it.
You could
Uh,
DM
you
people
email.
on YouTube.
you can email. I don't know, but I
No,
might.
you could DM people on YouTube. I've done
Okay,
it
but
before.
I think Instagram, for example, is more used for social interactions, while YouTube is just used for entertainment. So
More
I think
used-
that's the difference.
I feel like both of them are entertainment. I feel all of them are entertainment.
Okay,
I think-
Okay,
Yes, 'cause I find
none
entertaining
of
when
them
I
are really for entertainment at the end of the day. YouTube is a video sharing site, and some videos are entertaining, yes, but others are educational, informative.
That's all around.
Some
Twitter
are,
Yeah.
can be.
you
Twitter
know, like,
can. You know, I'm
artistically
gonna say the most
inspiring,
worst
you
thing I'm gonna say. Twitter can be informational, like
No,
depending.
it can't.
what
No, it can't. If
Yes.
you use Twitter as a source, you're
But
just
like the
completely
same thing can be
incredible.
said about YouTube. The same can be said about YouTube.
Yeah, kinda, but like, come on.
It depends on the source. It depends on how
Fair.
credible the thing
Yeah,
is.
okay.
So I think all of them can be informational, even TikTok, sadly.
Dude, TikTok is fucking scary.
Yeah, I find it
I'll
scary.
never go to TikTok.
Before it didn't have American servers. Now it does, so it's a bit more safe.
I'm just not talking about the American servers or it's owned by the Chinese Communist government, but I'm just talking about like, it's fucking scary because it knows you so well after you use it for like 10 minutes.
Well, it's kind of the same
That's
as
what I'm-
YouTube. YouTube does as well. It knows what you like to watch.
Yeah, but not in like.
Yeah,
the
but
speed
not,
of
like,
light.
Hey,
Yeah, it's like
what
over
is the Chinese
time.
government gonna do with my information?
I don't know. They're fucking communists.
Hire a Chinese hitman to kill you with a.
They can't.
I
do
feel like
that.
they would throw some Chinese propaganda your way just to
Yeah.
insinuate some violence
Well,
in
the
the
thing
US.
is, like, it's American servers that are handling my account and other American accounts, and the Chinese server has their own. I understand your fear. I really do understand. That's why I deleted it at first, but it still has your information if you have it first. Like, if you download it
Yeah.
and you go through a few videos.
I just don't trust the Chinese at all. And I trust it less than the American government, which is saying a lot,
it's our
considering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our government, so I trust American government more.
Yeah, but not by much.
So I trust them more than other governments because I live here.
Yeah, but I think that the American government is really clumsy.
I feel
So
like
Well, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
clumsy, but
I
it's
feel like
not
every
malicious.
clumsy.
I don't think it has malicious intent, but I think it's clumsy and people are just not
And
understanding that it's clumsy.
inefficient and obsolete and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm a libertarian. I talk about this stuff all the time. Can we get an I'm libertarian counter for how many times I've said that word in this podcast?
Oh, it's gonna be such a pain.
Fuck you, editor. This is what you get. If I'm the editor, sledgehammer do skull, please.
All right.
Anyways,
So let's talk about more specifically social media's influence on the election. Now,
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but people, big social media people like David Dobrik, Tanamongo,
Ugh.
especially Tanamongo. Did you see what she put? She put, "Send me proof that you voted for Biden, and I'll send you nudes."
Why?
Yeah.
And
That's actually illegal, by the
against
way.
law. I
Yeah,
don't know
right?
how she didn't get arrested for that. Like, there's proof.
Okay,
There's hard proof that she did that. It's not even like, yeah.
it's not even just influencers that I think are the issue, because it's like sort of celebrities where I think people understand that you take everything you see with a grain of salt, but it's the news networks that are really just influencing the election, and they're migrating to social media, which is really fucking scary.
You
Yeah.
know what's also scary? The fact that Twitter can basically delete all Republican accounts on that site on their site because they can. Like
Yeah, Section 230.
Yeah,
It's fucking
and
annoying.
like I found this out because I was watching Technoblade. A very big social media person. He was talking about it in one of his videos. So I just found that
Nothing
interesting.
says
They can
social
just do
media
whatever
like
they want because
Technoblade.
it's their site. You know.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really for government regulation, but I think at this point, because social media it's becoming really big. I don't know if it's as big as the government, but it's getting there. So I think you gotta rein it in somehow, and I don't really want to, but it's the problem I have with it is it's how do I put this? It's like the American Revolution where Britain was sort of abusing the minority, and I feel like Twitter and Silicon Valley is abusing the minority by banning people like pretty much conservatives.
Yeah, that is a pretty good definition of abuse. You know, just
it's
banning
tyranny,
anyone
basically.
that disagrees. Yeah, it is. And there's this meme that like libertarians and ANCAPs just like suck down to corporations, and they just like let them walk all over them, and they're just like, at least it's not the government. No. The corporations do not get to tread any more than the government does. And I'm not saying that there should be government regulations on corporations, because that's the same thing, but just like, you know, one titan fighting another titan, and it's just like an endless chokehold, which barely even works most of the time. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you know, you as an individual, whoever's watching, even if you disagree with everything I'm saying and think I'm the next Hitler, right? I think everyone who's watching this, and just everyone in the world, has a responsibility, if they have a free market economy or anything close to it, they have the responsibility to shape the way that their country is and like the corporations in it with their dollar. Again, there will, as long as the free market is truly free, again, or anything close to it. God, I have to keep saying that because America's not a free market, but it's whatever. You know, there will always be an opportunity for competition, which means that you can go against companies that use tactics that you are morally opposed to.
Yeah, and I don't. Okay, this is what I have. This is where it becomes eerie a little bit for me, because I think I wouldn't be so sympathetical to conservatives, because the like Twitter's used in America, right? And Twitter is all about communicating and getting your thoughts across. And in our Constitution, there's something called the First Amendment, which says that we have the right to freedom of expression. So I just sort of feel that the First Amendment applies to Twitter, because it's it's the modern day public square. That's what I'm trying to get at it, and I think
Yeah.
that's where people don't understand. And I get it. Libertarians are gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't regulate corporations," but they're with my sort of viewpoint, it's basically like, okay, this corporation's being tyrannical towards a certain minority group, and that's not okay.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
mean, fair enough. Again, okay, if we're talking about in the context of America, America's always going to have a government because that's what defines America to be America, right?
yeah,
So, if the American government is already going to be there, and companies are already sort of being regulated, like, already, but they're just not being regulated, like, quote unquote, enough, right? I think that any regulation for corporations should be specifically about making sure that they act fairly. So things like protecting minorities in their platform, especially I would say minorities of opinion, because those are most easily silenced on
hmm
opinion sharing websites and services.
and I don't think it helps that fucking what's his name, the lizard man, fuck,
Lizard
the
Man.
the CEO of Facebook. I can't remember his name. Okay, he went to Congress because I can't remember the reason. He's been to Congress several times, but or to the Senate. Let me specifically clarify. He went to the Senate, and I forget the senator. He asked him, "Okay, so who's your biggest competitor?" And the man couldn't even answer that, and that makes me a little worried because it's sort of like I don't want to insinuate that they're treading into that monopoly territory, but when he can't answer a simple question like that, that makes me believe maybe it's a monopoly-esque territory. You know what I'm saying? If you can't even answer who's your competition, that's where it becomes a big problem. As well, just not only the minority thing. Yeah, it's an iffy topic for me because I think I'm more libertarian on the economic spectrum, but uh, this one's iffy. I don't know.
Welcome aboard, buddy! We got another one!
And I think, yeah, we could talk about my philosophy another day, but it's
We'll
just
talk
social
about.
media it needs to be reined in somewhere. I don't know how, but just somehow. And this needs to be debated, by the way. And
Yeah.
the liberals that are silencing the conservatives, and I don't know if it's liberals, but it's sort of like leftists. They're just silencing us, and we can't really get our point across. And I think hopefully with this podcast we could sort of shed some light and inspire some debate. Perhaps I don't know.
I mean, hopefully.
Hopefully that's one of our goals, right, guys?
Yeah. And if we totally
Anyways,
fail and crash and burn, it's whatever. At least we had fun.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about what you guys think about Georgia, the runoff elections.
I know nothing
Uh,
about Georgia. You guys have
You know
fun.
what? You know what? Oh, it's a pain. All right, you can start.
Okay, so uh I don't know if I like Kelly Loeffler the most, but what was this other guy? I think it's David Perdue. I think
I
that's the
think it was
guy.
David Perdue. Yeah.
Right. So Kelly Loeffler, I don't know if I like her just because she was appointed, and that I don't know if I like that just as a general rule.
Mhm.
But David Perdue, for some reason, Purdue Chicken.
Yeah.
For some reason, every time I remember or like I look at his name, it always reminds me of Purdue Chicken. And I watched a documentary on how bad Purdue is towards chickens, so it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. That's just like a funny note. But to be honest, it's looking like Democrats won't control the Senate, which is a good thing because they need two
Well,
seats.
yeah.
And
But
David Perdue already won. Like,
you know what that means though.
what's up, bro? What does that
Like,
mean?
Biden's just gonna what is it? What's the word? It doesn't have to
Ram
put.
through legislation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna win. I don't think he's gonna control the Senate. I'll be real. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Well, you see, the Senate's the only thing that's gonna stop him from making those big kind of things. They're
I mean, not really. Executive orders exist, and I think it's abused a lot nowadays. But I mean, what are you gonna do about it, right? We can't just call up George Washington and say, "Hey, look at this guy. He's abusing his power."
I mean, you never know. Some of us are built different.
And
Some of
the
us
Supreme
can
Court's
go.
not doing anything better.
I mean, I don't know. I got his number,
Yeah, Vincent, can you DM me the number, bro?
bro. It, it's a
Yeah,
secret,
and the
man.
Supreme Court, The Supreme Court's not
If
helping.
you know,
as
you
well.
know.
Bro. Okay, the
Okay, I'm going back into my cave.
What is his name? Justice Roberts. That's who it is.
I don't know.
He's not helping. I think. I think George Bush appointed him. Right. That sounds about right. That's another reason why I think George Bush is on the lower end of the presidents in America. We could have a whole debate on George Bush and whether he was a good president, but I think even though Trump he's gonna exit office and he might not win a second term, I think his legacy will be fairly alive to sort of say because he just filled up so many vacancies in our judicial system, and I don't think Barack Obama capitalized enough on what Trump did. So we're gonna feel his legacy for a long time. We're gonna see a lot of Trump appointed judges for a long time because judge openings don't really open that often, and when they do, they have to pass the Senate. And if Biden gets elected, I doubt they're gonna pass the Senate because there's a lot of moderate Democrats like Joe Manchin who don't believe in full scale free
Oh, look,
abortion.
another Joe.
Right, but he's from West Virginia, so he's one of the last I guess not Southern Democrats, but conservative Democrats. He's one of the last ones.
Yeah.
But we could have a whole discussion about Joe Manchin and how he votes, interestingly. And I don't even know if you could even call the Democrats in the majority if they win both Senate seats with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker, because Joe Manchin is very much a conservative, so he sort of votes conservative a little bit. So even if they win both Senate seats, they have to do a lot of convincing towards Joe Manchin, which is gonna be a little difficult. I don't think people are recognizing that roadblock that presents it. So I'm not too worried about the Senate, even if the Democrats win both Senate seats. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't really know much about the topic, to be honest. This is like a kind of new topic to me, so I've just been listening, and
Yeah.
it's a bit of a
Yeah,
yike.
I get that.
Very interesting, yes.
It's, okay. it's
Congratulations. Thank you for giving us this insight.
interesting. Yeah. but okay, King Chow, you should know more, right? Come on,
What?
man. You know more. You know more about this topic.
About
Spit some
about
facts.
Well, if-
fucking Georgia or whatever.
Georgia, yeah. The
Yeah.
Georgia, the Senate runoff. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Do you think it's inherently racist as the media portrays?
Okay.
Okay.
I will say one thing, alright? If it's about anything regarding the legislative branch of government, zone. I know nothing. I know
Why?
absolutely nothing about.
But why do you know nothing?
Why do I know nothing? Because it's simple. I don't have to know. Being a libertarian, you just say government bad, and that's it. That's all you have to say.
Government bad.
you don't
Goes
actually have to
home,
say
goes to his
why.
cubby hole.
You should know your congressperson at least, right?
I
What's
mean,
our
it
congressman
is-
person?
Well, mine is I don't want to dox myself, so I won't say. But
Yeah.
Can I mean, Kaika.
Yeah, what's
What's
up,
your
bro?
congressman? Who's
I'll
your
do it.
congressman?
Honestly, we're already doxxed. Just say it.
all right, it's Brad Sherman. That's my
Bro, it's
congressman.
Nancy Pelosi.
No, Nancy Pelosi's not my congressperson.
Are you sure?
Brad Sherman, he came to our school.
Just like
Alright,
how Joe Biden just not
speaking
your
of-
president.
Speaking of Pelosi, let's step away from this topic since only Ari knows about it.
Yeah.
Arya's
that's
a
true.
big brain who actually cares about the government. What?
Let's,
I
talk
also care about politics. But yeah,
Shut
Pelosi.
up. Shut the hell up.
Let's see fucking Pelosi.
Let's talk about
Okay.
Nancy Pelosi, alright?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a fun
Uh,
conversation.
Yep. Let's talk about Pelosi.
Oh, babe.
She's in dangerous territory to be replaced
Gee.
because she was trending a couple days ago or yesterday. I can't remember. Like it was like replace Pelosi January 3rd, which is completely. If you were to tell me that this would have happened, I don't know, 4 years ago, I would have been like, "Bruh, what?" This is totally plausible. The progressives are just eating up the moderates, and
Yeah.
if they just reject Pelosi, which is they only need 11 people, maybe 12, because the untimely death of the congressperson in Louisiana, Luke Letlow. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know if she could win, honestly, and I think she will win, just because they don't want to fucking Paul Ryan back in there. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think the media portrays as the Republicans only having the issues where Trump's sort of fracturing the party because he wants a $2,000 stimulus check. But to me, it seems the Democrats have bigger issues, and I think we'll see that unfold in 2024 by the very least.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, honestly, everybody's been complaining about how Trump's fracturing the Republican Party, but the Democrats have been fracturing their party ever since they could. It's like
Yeah,
I think it's ever since. I know a lot of people say ever since 2012 because sort of Barack Obama ran on a different platform, but I think it just it became exposed in 2016. The progressives versus the
yeah, no,
moderates.
totally. Because the thing is, right around I'd say 2015, they just grew. There was always a progressive sentiment in the Democratic Party, but just something awoken in like late 2014 and early 2015 of just like the feminists, and they were gonna save all the genders and all the races, and there are more than two genders, and shut up bigot, and they were gonna save the country by stopping the evil racists, and everyone who disagreed with them were the racists.
And they were at their prime in 2018. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
that was their prime.
I feel like
kind of feel like 2016 was their prime.
Really?
No, I think
okay, so Republicans won control of the House and Senate, but in 2018 they flipped 41 seats. I think. That was
back to the legislative branch. Well,
that was the. I think that
was their prime.
No, okay. I'm not talking about the Democratic Party. I'm talking about
I'm talking about the progressives.
You're talking about the progressives.
Yeah.
You think their cultural peak was 2018?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if their influence was at their peak in 2018, but I think their grasp of the Democratic Party was
definitely.
In 2018.
Yeah. I definitely agree on that. But still, ever since Trump won the election, you just have this like I kind of compare it to like a swarm of angry wasps, and they're just Trump kicked their nest, and so now they're just going around stinging all the conservatives. And that's why we now have things like cancel culture and like political
I feel like we've had cancel culture for a while. Just like it came up especially during 2016, and even now 2020, have people who just cancel other people for what they did in the past. Like that's their past selves.
Yeah, but cancel culture is different from when it was, I don't know, 20 years ago, right?
That's
cancel
true.
culture
Canceled
is
for
an
murder.
Evolved beast.
Yeah, people were canceled
I feel like
for
back
murder.
then it was a better
that
thing
was justified.
than now. Now is like so. We can talk about that in another episode, but it's just so stupid now. But going back to the sorry, I'm messing words. The Democrats' grasp on like the political, more of the progressives' grasp on the Democrats. I feel like their grasp are so, I don't know, because referencing Ben Shapiro, stop yawning. Referencing Ben Shapiro, he referenced how
Ben Shapiro.
The liberals, sorry. The liberals, if anyone who disagreed with them, even the Democrats who are not as progressive as them, they were basically, to be put on a stick and crucified and basically called a bigot and a racist,
or burned at a stake, or
Yeah, it's sort of funny because
by the tree or whatever.
The progressives are reeing that they underperformed in the House because they weren't progressive enough, and the moderates are reeing at the progressives because they were too progressive, and that's why they lost the seats.
Yeah.
So it's funny to watch that.
It's funny to watch that unravel and just burn.
The left is a very fractured party.
It's more fractured than a Republican Party. I think at least the Republicans.
Surprise.
The Republicans don't really agree on conservative social issues, but they definitely do agree on more economic issues. So I think they'll sort of keep them together for a little bit.
Yeah, well, except for the actual libertarians who moved to the Libertarian Party represent.
Okay, but what about Rand Paul and Ted Cruz? That's what I thought, buddy.
Bro, it's just because you have everything that makes you a libertarian doesn't mean you're a libertarian. It's the name, it's the branding, it's the gold flags, bro. If you don't got the gold flags, what are you doing?
I think Rand Paul is more of a libertarian than Joe Jorgensen. Don't at me.
What?
Yep.
Alright.
I want you to say that
I-
again in slow motion. on.
Rand Paul is more of a
Oh,
libertarian
okay,
than
but-
Joe Jorgensen.
Let's take it back now, y'all.
Ah.
Alright. try not to trigger you.
Actually, you're like completely right. Joe Jorgensen was kind of an SJW posing as a libertarian, but she was better than all the other
Dude.
candidates. Joe Jorgensen,
She was-
2024.
The only reason why I said that because she fucking supported Black Lives Matter when there was.
Okay.
It just didn't make sense at
Uh,
all.
Well, no, but
yeah.
here's the thing, though. Okay, I actually do want to debate this really quickly before we move on to our next thing.
Yeah. Go
Joe
for it.
Jorgensen did not support the Black Lives Matter movement. She just didn't.
She said.
No,
But she said
support.
hashtag Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
yeah. She supported the Black Lives Matter sentiment and the message, but she did not support the movement. I don't know if you actually saw her tweet, but she specifically said that she does
don't
not
look this up.
agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. She specifically does not agree with it. That's why she's based.
I feel like many people
And why
have
you're
the same
cringe.
kind of thing. Like they support the idea, like yes, you know,
Okay, so
but they don't support the movement and how they do. things.
I think most people agree that objectively,
yeah.
without any prior context, black people's lives do objectively matter. I think that was kind of a given.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you don't support it, you're basically a KKK member. You're basically a white
So-
supremacist.
King Chow, this is what I have issue with supporting Black Lives Matter. I don't really. I think supporting, the end to police brutality and sort of the reining in of qualified immunity, that's like a good thing. But I think that the Black Lives Matter, saying is it's basically the movement. I don't know how you
Right.
could separate the two. So when she says something like that, it just makes me feel that she sort of indirectly supports the movement. You know what I'm saying?
I actually do understand. And there's a lot of people who will say that they support Black Lives Matter, and when you're like, oh, so you support riots, it's like, stop straw manning. I always support the peaceful protest. And it's like,
Well, then if you say you're gonna support the Black Lives Matter, you have to support the whole thing.
right,
Right.
right.
So
You can't just cut out the parts that you don't like.
Exactly.
It's like the KKK. You could say, all right, I support the right
I
to
only support the
peaceful protest.
non-violent KKK members.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
just it's not a good thing to say.
For those gamers out there, it's like saying you like a game, but you
Also,
like,
can I clarify before we move on? I'm not a KKK supporter. I'm not a
Yeah,
white
he is.
supremacist. Please don't cancel
None
me.
of
please,
us
please, please,
are,
Yeah.
obviously.
no, those two are. I'm a.
I'm not a part of the KKK.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're far from it, by the way.
That's
I
why
have sort of a color.
Right.
I have a
Bro,
colorblind view
the
of the world,
KKK
by the
is
way.
cringe, alright?
It
Why
is
would you see
honestly
race when
stupid.
you could see green? That's the only
And by the
color
way,
that
the
matters.
Democrats
Come
formed
on.
That party. By the way, the Democrats formed that party.
Yeah,
Anyways,
they did. What?
Yeah.
let's move on from the. I'm trying not to get our channel taken down this far in.
Dude,
This-
it's already too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
Either we're gonna
um,
stay up or we're going down.
Well-
There's no saving it.
All right, so I think we've hit the end of that topic. So I feel like we should, it's a sad topic to end off on,
Yeah.
but the passing of Luke Letlow, yesterday, was by COVID-19 was very hit us, Republicans who he is sorry, he's congressman elect for Louisiana, and he was 41. And he was tested positive COVID-19 on December 18th of 2020. And
Yeah.
he died yesterday, I believe, if I'm correct.
So 11 days later, yeah.
Yeah, and he was actually going to be put into swearing in Congress on January, I believe.
3rd?
3rd, I believe the
Yeah.
3rd.
Oh my god.
It's unfortunate. I mean,
4 more days.
yeah, I don't even. Is Louisiana gonna hold a special election? I don't even want to talk about that because I feel like it's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know completely.
This is why I hate just liberals and the left on fucking Twitter who were blaming Republicans for not taking COVID-19 seriously. It's like, can you at least have some dignity to respect this man's death for at least one day? before you start doing the blame game. After 2 hours of his death, they were already doing the blame game.
Bro.
That's
It's
just
so
sad.
stupid.
A Republican
No.
dies from COVID. LOL! Republicans making people die from COVID. They're responsible. It's their fault.
It's just so
Honestly.
dumb. It's just so like inappropriate and not very.
It's disgusting, honestly.
It is disgusting.
Yeah.
And the poor guy, he was hospitalized December 23rd due to COVID-19, and right now, all my heart and prayers go to your family, the Lello family, and yeah, he had 2 kids. 2 kids, by the way. 2 kids. At age
Yep.
41, he died. 41.
He probably, I mean, from what I understand, he had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It's the first time he was elected to the House of Representatives, so big milestone for him, but he couldn't fulfill that milestone, unfortunately. And I don't, just going back, if Bernie Sanders died tomorrow, I would not just clown on him, say, oh, the socialist died, Lamau, let's hold a party, Lamau. I would
Yeah.
not do that for at least a couple of days, and
Because we're
liberals
not
don't understand that.
monsters.
Yeah.
yeah,
We-
do you have moral decency at this point? No.
Exactly. Like, you're clowning the guy publicly, basically think of it like this. You tweeting something bad about him, like, hours after his death, and you're basically going up to his family members in their face and saying what you tweeted about the man. To his family's face.
I mean,
Think of it
They
like
have
that.
to check Twitter, by the way, because that's the modern day form of communication. So
yeah, I don't know about that.
Exactly.
It's a hypothetical, but even just the chance of you, like, that message going out to their family, that's just such a kick down. I don't know how to be more scummy. Believe me, I've researched.
yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't want Bernie. Okay, so as much as I hate Bernie, I would not want him
wish
to.
death upon him.
Yeah, I don't wish death upon my worst enemies, and I know I'm not
Especially a
religious,
death like
but
one from COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bad death. 'cause
That's
it's
a
slow
really
death.
nasty death.
Yeah.
It hits all of us, at home. And I know earlier we were talking about regulations, how they shouldn't be as strong. But still, COVID-19 is serious, but
And
you
it's
know,
very real.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't only affect Republicans as much
Yeah.
as
It
liberals. want
doesn't
to be.
affect one side of the spectrum, it affects both.
And
I
think,
swear, they'd be like, Republicans are at the back of the line for the vaccine.
Yeah.
exactly, and this is only contributing to the divide in America, which is just
been
destroying our country.
It is
Honestly.
legit taking us apart piece by piece.
I
and-
do not think that we're ever going to become a bipartisan nation again. And there is an
Yeah,
argument to be
we'll
made
separate
that's a good
into ways.
thing. There's an argument to be made that the sort of centrist status quo is going to fall, and that's going to be a great thing. But it's going to have side effects no way you look at it.
Yeah.
And one of those side effects is going to be that everything becomes political, everything becomes partisan, everything becomes a this or that issue. And when it comes to the matter of human death, human loss, I would say, especially in such a concept of, like, an emergency that we're currently dealing with right now, that's one of the side effects, is that we're living in just such a polarized political time that we just, it's inevitable that some idiot is going to say that some other idiot who is mourning for, well, then the second person is an idiot. I'm sorry, that was just reflex.
Yeah.
But some other person who's mourning for the loss of someone, like, important, or just in general, who died of COVID,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Ha, loser, because you're X and I'm Y, and Y is better and X is worse." That's like definite. That was always going to happen. That doesn't make it okay.
Right. I disagree with you that we aren't going to be a bipartisan country anymore. I think we will at one point. It's just going to take some time. I don't know. I think we're going to reach a boiling point, like something similar to the Civil War. just
Civil War! Civil War!
No.
Civil War! Civil War! This is how we're gonna end Capistan, boys! Let's do this!
Yeah, I don't want that, by the way, because I think government's only role is to protect, you know, individuals' natural rights, and if you don't have a government to protect those rights, it just turns into a lawless mayhem that cannot be controlled. So, yeah, I
Ugh.
understand your viewpoint, and we could debate that all day, but
Right. Well,
Yeah,
I think, frankly, that would be a great debate
yeah,
for
100%.
another time because we've reached the hour mark.
uh,
We've run out of things to talk about for the most part.
all right then. Well, I'll close us off. You know, this is us, Sons of Liberty. All our hearts and prayers for those of us who are religious go out to the Letlow family and to its children, and hopefully, they get through this. You know,
Right.
it's just one of those things that we together as America, not as Republicans and Democrats, we must all, go through diversity and through this hard time pandemic of COVID-19. Can we even say COVID-19?
I don't know,
Just
but I think what
just
you're
be
trying to,
about okay,
yeah,
yeah. So
I think what you're trying to say is there's not red states or blue states. It's only the United States. We're
exactly,
just
we're united. We united front, and hopefully, you know, these kind of things happen, but all of our hearts and prayers go out to you, Lolo family, and to any of those who are affected by this pandemic. And this is us, Sons of Liberty, signing out.
yep.
Peace.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Goodbye.